This module describes precautions that must be applied to avoid polluting coastal and oceanic waters of Australia, harming marine life, and causing potential navigation hazard. All fishers have a responsibility to ensure their fishing activity is sustainable and minimizes environmental impact as much as possible. This includes taking steps to ensure that oil, plastics, and other materials are not released or discharged from the boat into the marine environment, potentially harming the animals that depend upon this environment. Sadly though, the fishing industry has in the past been a significant contributor to pollution incidents reported to marine authorities around Australia. It is also a significant contributor to plastic pollution, which can harm seabirds, marine mammals, fish, and other marine animals. Pollution of the marine environment is strictly controlled by the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, commonly known as MARPOL. Australia is a signatory to this convention, which is now enforced in over 150 countries. Basically, MARPOL dictates regulations associated with the discharge of waste and waste materials in any coastal or oceanic water. Under this legislation, penalties for discharging in contravention of MARPOL regulations may reach $10,000 or more. The discharge of oily mixtures is permitted providing the oil content is less than 15 parts of oil to 1 million parts of water, or 15 parts per million. This can be achieved with appropriate oil filtering equipment, and all fishing vessels over 400 tons are required to be fitted with this equipment. Fishing vessels under 400 tons that do not have this equipment must not discharge oily mixtures overboard, which usually means they must be stored on board for disposal at port waste reception facilities. An oily mixture is defined as any fluid containing diesel, oil, petrol, and hydraulic fluids. It also includes bilge water containing any concentration of oil. Options to reduce the discharge or oil include, dealing with all leakages as soon as they are detected, placing a drip tray under engines, winches, and other potential sources of leakage, ensuring that engine rooms and other machinery spaces are fitted with sump plumbing so that any leakage collects in the sump and not the bilge, and ensuring propeller shaft seal is in good working order. The discharge of garbage into the sea is prohibited. Garbage includes all kinds of food wastes, domestic wastes and operational wastes, including plastics, synthetic ropes, fishing gear, plastic strapping, cooking oil, paint, paper, rags, glass, metal, bottles, crockery and batteries. One of the best ways to avoid the discharge of garbage at sea, and the possibility of fines, is to reduce the amount of packaging taken on board in the first instance. To the extent possible, fishers should consider the amount of packaging and waste that will be generated whilst at sea. Ways to reduce the amount of waste include buying in bulk, using reusable and recyclable packaging, and avoiding plastic packaging, unless it is reusable or recyclable. Recyclable plastic packaging should only be used where the vessel has the ability to store it for later disposal ashore. Food wastes and untreated sewage should not be discharged less than 12 nautical miles of the shore. Exceptions to this include food that can pass through a screen opening measuring no more than 25 mm by 25 mm, and sewage that is macerated and disinfected and then discharged more than 3 nautical miles of the shore. Fresh fish waste, including shellfish, produced during fishing or aquaculture activities are not considered as garbage and may be discharged directly into the sea. All rubbish, including plastic waste, needs to be retained on board for the duration of the fishing trip, either stored in drums or heavy-duty bags. Food waste can be stored in bags in the freezer or hold. All used or contaminated oil, fuel filters, Denso tape, oily rags, etc. are to remain on board until they can be unloaded in port or to another ship. Waste oil is to be stored in a waste oil tank or empty drum, preferably secured in the engine room. All other engine room waste should be stowed in plastic drums or sealed plastic bags. These can be stowed in the engine room or tiller flat. At no time is waste oil or fuel to be dumped into the bilge to be pumped overboard. All processing rubbish, for example, meta bags, carton coverings, strapping, etc. are to be collected and retained on board. 2 bins should be provided for the galley, one for food and other biodegradable waste and another for plastics and other non-biodegradable waste. Biodegradable waste should be stored in plastic bags in the freezer, or hauled away from the catch. Non-biodegradable waste can be stored on the wheelhouse roof or other location out of the way, and secured so it will not blow into the water. Lost fishing gear may harm the marine environment or create a navigational hazard. Many marine animals, including target fish species, die as a result of becoming entangled in, or ingesting discarded plastic packing straps, netting, monofilament line, nylon rope, plastic, bait holders, and foam or polystyrene items. Plastics which degrade into small fragments are also mistaken for food or ingested accidentally. Smaller fragments, called microplastics, can be ingested by fish, crabs, prawns, and other small animals. Garbage such as rope and plastic material can get caught in propeller shafts, or block water intakes, causing major damage, lost fishing time, and expensive repairs. The law states that fishing vessels must make every effort to retrieve all lost or damaged fishing gear. Fishing vessel operators are also required to record the discharge or loss of fishing gear in the garbage record book or ship's log. Special provisions apply when working in the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park. While most MARPOL provisions apply to within or outside of 12 nautical miles from shore, in the case of the marine park, these provisions are measured from the outer boundary of the park. This basically means no discharges of any type within the marine park or within 12 nautical miles of the outer boundary. One exception is the discharge of fresh fish waste. Finally, all discharges anywhere in Australian coastal and offshore waters in contravention of MARPOL should be reported immediately. This includes both accidental discharges and accidental loss of fishing gear. The local port authority should be called, or MSAR on 1-800-641-792. If lost fishing gear potentially is a navigation hazard, it is a good idea to also contact other boats in the area. Great! You have now finished this module. Let's now review the material we covered.